Hi dancers, and welcome to day 2 of your winter cross training at home. We are starting with playground balls breath work. Try to keep your feet as active as possible. If this butterfly position is not comfortable, place yourself in a seated position. Find a playground ball or a sweater, something that you can have a bit of resistance on. Lengthen your spine as much as you can. Full breath in through the ribs, through the belly. And as you exhale, you want to press onto the ball. Pull the abdominals away from your hands and the ball or the sweater that you have in your hands. Create length, then lengthen as you inhale. Fill with the brace in the abdominals, the abs still trying to stretch. And as you exhale, go deeper in the opposite direction. Move slow. Breathe as much as you can and create as much space as possible within the body. Moving on to circuit A. You would have 2 rounds starting with your Kang squats. So your Kang squat is basically a good morning, moving down into your deepest squat possible. In the good morning, keep the legs as active as possible, plant your feet down, feel your tripod foot. You want to have that feeling of corkscrewing the heels into the floor while pushing the big toes down. A little bit of an external rotation at the top of the hips. As you lower yourself down into your squat, you want to keep this motion as active as possible. You should feel a deep burn or heat sensation into the hips. That should not be painful, but you should feel work. Next, you have your side plank crunches. Use both hands, and especially the forearm that is on the floor, to engage your upper body so you can use your core to connect the force from the upper body to the force of your lower body. You want your legs to be driving down onto the ground and you want a little hold at the top. I like to always bring the breath with the movement, feeling a little crunch, like a side crunch. Eyes are lift up and down. You want to almost feel a coil through your core here. Keep exhaling. This is very, very important to deepen the muscle contraction. Welcome to your circuit B with 2 rounds. For this movement, for this first one, kneeling windmills, you have multiple options for your weight. You can use a light resistant bands, you can use a water bottle, a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a heavy book, whatever you desire, but also no weight at all. Remember, the intention behind the movement is more important than the movement and the weight that you're adding to it. I'm using on that first round a band, looping it through my working shoulder, my working hand, and under the working foot. You want to keep the length through the spine as always. And in the windmill, you want to hinge at your hips. I like to keep looking at my hand, looking towards the sky to make sure I'm space holding my hand where I want it to be. And I want to come back to that starting position with my hand over my shoulder and over my hip. Keep driving your legs as much as you can into the floor, and as you find the bottom of the windmill, actively push your hand onto the floor. If you want to go farther down, you have the option to bend the elbow fully and to try to touch the floor. I will demonstrate that a little bit later. Now it's a little balance game. You can use a tissue, a band, a sock, whatever you would like. Find a balance, soft bend into the working or standing leg. Drop the object and try to grab it with the opposite hand. Your goal is to hinge at the hips, to bend the standing leg as much as possible, and to work through the stability of that ankle. If it is too easy, try to see how far you can get that object. You want to keep the balance throughout that full set to work on the endurance of the standing leg. On the second round, I'm demonstrating with a water bottle just for you to see the different options. Keep adapting, keep finding ways to move, not excuses. Adapt to your environment, keep moving your body. Circuit C is composed of 4 rounds. Each round, you would alternate your sides. Back on the chair, we saw that yesterday, or your wall sit. Keep it pretty calm here. Actively drive the feet down. If you want to add your tibialis raises, please be my guest, but do not hesitate to just sit and push the feet as actively as possible into the ground. If you want to add more, don't hesitate to pick up a dumbbell, reach your arms in front of you, lift them overhead, and gently take them back to shoulder height. Inhale as you lift, exhale back to shoulder height. On this quadruped work, I like to add a little bend or a ball behind my knee to really reinforce that connection heel to glutes. You can also take a light weight if you would like, but keep this light so you can work on the range of motion. You're going to find circle, one direction, then the other. You want to keep the parallel within the hip as you lift from the bottom back to that hip extension. As you rotate, you want to go as far as you can, keeping your standing hip on top of the standing knee. Be very mindful about how your hips are going to want to shift to the opposite direction. You want your core to stabilize through it all. Reverse the circles, keep the speed slow. We want to move with something that feels comfortable and manageable for you to find the best range of motion possible. For your final move today, an active adductor stretch. Here, I like to lengthen from one side to the other. I like to take a little reset by lengthening both legs up, finding myself at the top, then coming back down into the stretch. I want to keep the grip into my feet as much as possible, and I want to avoid just crunching down into my hips. Space into my hip socket is what I'm looking for during this movement. Keep it active. Don't hesitate to use the support of a wall or a bar if needed.